Hey everyone, you're listening to a working title podcast. We officially don't have a name yet, but we're gonna work on it. But this is episode, what did you say, like 1.1?
Yeah, 1.5, 1.1,
1.1.
1 point decimal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an offshoot of our podcast that we did on IG Live on Steven's podcast page. So now we're gonna actually try to do some legit editing and
And
audio
yeah, and
and
put it to
possibly
the
video.
put it to the streams, streaming services, and
Yeah,
see how
yeah.
that goes.
We'll get this out there somehow. I don't know
Yeah.
how. We're we're just two guys who just wants to talk and and we'll go from there. we're making
Yeah,
up as we go
exactly.
along.
Exactly.
But how are you, Steven? You doing good?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing all right. It's Wednesday night, couple days till Halloween. It kind of feels, it's pretty much closer to the end of the year. This kind of like starts the whole, fall cycle into Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then, we hit the 2021. So pretty crazy that we're already at this point, but I'm kind of glad that we're almost here.
I know. I see on the news of like people who are already experiencing like winter weather, and
Yeah.
here in Florida it was like 85 degrees outside. I'm still wearing shorts
Oh
out
yeah.
here, and I'm
It's
like,
it's
man,
all everyday shorts.
yeah. I like my family was wearing flip flops. We went out today. We went to the park. But it was like this is close to the end of the year and it's still pretty hot here in Florida, and I'm like, when do we get to have that little break from the summer heat, that year-long summer that we feel here in
Yeah.
Florida?
Yeah, we to make it cold over here, since Florida weather won't do it for us, is just turn down your AC to like, 68 and put all the fans on, and pretty much there you go. There's your there's your winter in Florida. That's pretty much a given. If like, Christmases are pretty much hot. You can't really wear any sort of suit or sweater or something like that, because you're just gonna, sweat through it. So
Yeah, I remember these past couple holidays I would have my full like holiday gear on, but it would be like almost 80 degrees and I'd be wearing a sweater. And I'm like, but this is like the only time of the year that I'm allowed to wear that sweater. And so I'm like, I'm going to put up with it, because
yeah.
like this is the only time this will see the light of day outside my drawer. And then it's back in the closet for the next 350 days and all that. So
Yeah, and it's not even cold on the appropriate times. It's always cold in January and February. That's
yeah.
when it gets cold, and like 40-degree cold, which doesn't make any sense, because you want to have it during Thanksgiving, you want to have it during Christmas, but even Halloween, a nice cold Halloween night, that'd be nice.
That'd be
But
nice.
yeah, but we haven't had any of that. Pretty much sweating through our costumes and stuff like that.
I know. So for today, in order to kind of get that feel of fall, we're doing a special Halloween episode. Technically, our first episode. uh,
Yeah,
so first episode, we're already doing a special. Uh,
that's how you do it.
yeah, we dive right into it. We're
Yeah.
like, for happy first episode anniversary.
Hooray! We
Yeah,
made it. We made it past one episode.
I know. And then when we make it to 2, when we make it to 5, we'll throw a party somehow.
Oh my gosh, it would be a celebration.
Yeah. But yeah, so let's get into it, because I want to get your thoughts on like Halloween. It
Mm-hmm.
is like that fall season, and I kind of want to know like what Halloween was like growing up, when you were growing up in your household.
Okay, so I guess Halloween Halloween was for me, like when I was a kid, was about candy. I loved candy. I was, any chance I can get to get free candy, I was like, okay, cool. So I guess in school and stuff like that, we got, middle school. I mean, even before that, preschool, you get dressed. Sometimes you didn't even know what you were dressed in just because your parents probably picked it out for you. But yeah, I mean, it was just kind of all about the sweets for me. Like the dressing up part was fun. Like sometimes you got to pick whatever you wanted to wear, but for me, it was just kind of it was the experience of going out with a whole bunch of other kids and just getting candy. And then at the end of the night, you kind of see, what you got, and you just maybe that goes through the night and the weekend, and however. So that's pretty much it was kind of simple, but yet that's what drew me in, to be honest with you.
Did you have like any costumes growing up, or like did you ever have a costume during one Halloween that you remember about?
I think there was one that I saw a photo of it because we took a picture in front of our door. It was a Power Rangers. I think it was me and Scott were like Power Rangers, I think. That's pretty much the only costume I think I remember. Anything else was just kind of like a blur, to be honest with you. Like, to be honest with you, I don't really remember the costumes. Maybe it's because it was just like, just buy at Walmart, buy at Target, and just put it on, and so I can go out, So it's almost like a uniform. It's like, okay, so I have to blend in with the kids so I can get this candy. Okay, let me just get a costume. Maybe if I have a little say or not, I can wear what I want, or maybe find my size, and then go out and get candy. So I don't really remember any of my costumes except that Power Rangers one, because Power Rangers is kind of big in my childhood. So
were you like a certain color Power Ranger, or did you and Scott like debate like, I'm going to be the Yellow Ranger? No, not the Yellow Ranger. I'm going to be the White Ranger. That'd be weird if you were the Yellow Ranger. But I'm going to be the White Ranger. Like, oh, I'm going to be the Green Ranger.
I mean, I don't know. I know we were Power Rangers. I don't know what color, because when you go into the store and you're like, you want like a certain color, but obviously it's popular, so it's you're probably not going to get it. So I might have gotten like the one I got a Power Ranger costume, but I don't know what color, but it's probably the one I didn't want, because that's just how it went,
Uh-huh.
So if I want to be Red Ranger, I probably got the Blue Ranger or Green Ranger. Green Ranger is good too. I wasn't a huge fan of the Green Ranger because he was evil back in those days, up until the point where he became White Ranger and it was good again. So yeah, I don't really know.
well did you ever like because I was reflecting on my childhood, and so when my brother and I were growing up, we weren't allowed to celebrate Halloween in our household because we grew up very, very Christian in our house, very conservative Christian, and so we didn't celebrate Halloween. We celebrated fall, so we would have fall festivals at on the church grounds, and so that would be the time that we would get candy, and we ride the hay rides. But we never really dove into our household with like spirits and demons and zombies,
and
yeah,
like
and like the cool stuff of Hollywood, of Halloween. Because we were more about like, oh, this is the time when the leaves change color, and this is the time when it gets cooler and the bugs start dying.
jeez.
And so, but on the other side of like the neighborhood, everyone was like, yeah, I'm gonna dress up as a serial killer, or I'm gonna dress up as Jason,
A vampire. Yeah, like
yeah,
all the all those costumes.
Yeah, and we were growing up with, I'm gonna be dressed up as a pumpkin, or I'm gonna be dressed up as candy corn. So very safe
Yeah,
costumes that that
yeah.
we had every year. Um, but I remember one time my brother, I think I think the only time he ever dressed up for Halloween was when I think my parents made him a astronaut suit, and
What? That's wow. That's crazy. That's like going like that's a level. That's almost a cosplay, to be honest with you.
yeah, yeah, it was. I think I remember he had like he had like the backpack on. I think this is when Apollo 13 came out, and the movie Apollo 13. So I think we were kind of into like space stuff, and
Hmm.
so I think I remember my brother had a backpack made, or one of those astronaut space packs made out of foil, and I think he had a helmet, and I can't remember if he had a full suit on, but he had that, and then me, I think I don't even remember what it was. It was probably some dumb thing like, oh, I'm a I'm like a leaf or
Yeah,
a
yeah,
fall
yeah.
leaf or something. I don't know.
Or a banana.
Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
taco. So you see
Yeah,
those
taco. There
tacos
you go.
things, but I'm like, "Ah, man, I want to get that. Um, but yeah, that was kind of like my early memories of the fall season. So we didn't
Yeah.
have Halloween. We had the fall season, but like
So you didn't even give away candy? Like if someone comes up to you, or do you guys just turn your light off and just kind of?
we 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 would get candy, but we would eat it all ourselves. So
Oh,
we would like have occasionally like some neighbors come up, but it would only be like two or three families, and then um, like the rest of the night would be quiet. So we just eat the rest of the candy.
so you passed out candy. It's just you didn't get a lot of trick or treaters.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And then later on, it became, let's just turn the lights off and pretend nobody's home,
Yeah, yeah.
and um, but
That's it.
that's it. That was it.
Yeah,
Halloween was
yeah.
over. Um, but looking back on it now, I'm just like, man, this was like proto cosplay. This is,
Yeah.
because we go to conventions often, and
Hmm.
we see cosplayers, and they go all out. Well, I feel like, man, if only I had that root in Halloween, and that would have been my time to like shine, or
Yeah.
or um, or kind of get that root of cosplay in, so I could go to conventions and do something
Yeah.
extravagant, get my
Yeah, yeah.
picture taken. Ooh.
So like, wait, so like okay, so what was like the first year you actually started trick or treating? Like you went out with your friends and stuff like that and actually got candy. Like how far are we how old were you when you actually like were able?
I don't think I actually. If I did trick or treat, it's not something in like recent memory. I think
Uh-huh.
I remember walking with friends one evening, and we weren't really going up to house to get trick or treats or
Hmm.
candy, but we were just kind of like moseying around the neighborhood,
Yeah, just walking around
watching
with
others.
people and yeah,
Yeah,
uh-huh.
this was, oh, it must have been recently, because I remember this was a time when Slender Man was an internet sensation,
Oh. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and this was, I remember going out into like the side of the road with a friend of mine, and we would pretend we were like Slender Man. So um, um, that I would try to like hide in the grass, and then someone would shine a light, and I'd try to be spooky, like Slender Man or
Like
something.
yeah, like the grass, like the rustling and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I got you.
yeah, but yeah. So like, what's Halloween like for you today? Now that you're grown up.
Um I mean, I mean, it's still. I mean, there's not really. I mean, let me clarify. I mean, I'm not really the biggest Halloween fan. Like, I'm
Hmm.
not like, I don't get into like excitement for Halloween. It's kind of just like, sure, like Halloween's just like, okay, cool. You know, go
Hmm.
out, maybe watch a scary movie or just kind of just see what's going on in the city, I guess. But for me today, it's kind of just, you know, just I just don't like the spooky stuff. I don't like going to haunted houses and getting scared. Like
Hmm.
the whole thing now about getting scared or you know uh, just trying to like try to be as spooky as possible. I mean, also wear costumes and stuff like that. I'm not really the most creative guy when it comes to costumes. When it comes to like what I want to be for Halloween, that's like the last thing on my mind. Like I'm just like, hey, I want to buy some candy. Like the day after Halloween, that is my thing. The
that
50% off candy.
that's when the
That's
true
where I'm
holiday
at.
begins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the true holiday. But for me today, it's just kind of just another day. I know that's kind of like what people are gonna be like. What, another day? It's awesome. But I'm just kind of like kind of nonchalant about it. It's just kind of like, oh, cool, Halloween. See some interesting costumes, walk around, and kind of just that's about it.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
so so there was this one year that we went to Halloween Horror Nights,
Yes.
and so that for me that was a fun night because it was hanging out with you and the rest of our cousins,
Hmm.
and I remember going into the haunted houses. But were you putting on a brave face when we went to those, or were you like?
Absolutely, absolutely. Put on a brave face on because it was just. I mean, thank goodness, like people were close. Like, you have to like kind of stay in a line, but it also dictated on the person in front of you. So if people were
Hmm.
walking fast, you're walking fast too. If people walking slow, you're pushing the hell out of them to fucking move fast. Go, go, go.
Uh-huh.
So like I'm just yeah, it was tough. Like I tried to have a mindset where I was like, okay, they're just gonna jump. They're not gonna like touch you or anything like that. So that got me through, maybe an hour in. But after that, I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm scared. Like the whole chainsaws around the thing where it was nuts. Like it was the Walking Dead theme too, I think, and they had like zombies come out of a kind of a back of a truck or a U-Haul or something like that. And um, I mean, the atmosphere was awesome. It was just going into those haunted houses, knowing that you know they're there to scare you. I was just kind of not my thing.
Yeah, yeah. I do remember um, there, like for some reason, whenever I go to Halloween Horror Nights, and despite all the people that are around, there's always those chainsaw psychos, and they always find me, and so
Hmm.
I'll try to hide or I'll try to get around me, but there's always going to be that one chainsaw psycho that like locks onto you, revs up their
Oh yeah, yeah. They
chainsaw, and
follow
then
you.
and following. I'm
Yeah,
like, dude, there's like 50 people around me. How did you pick me out? It's like every time. And
yeah.
so
Like I remember you like high stepping. Sometimes you were like dodging, ducking, like just trying to get away. Like there was like I think there was like multiple ones like just surrounding. It didn't really surround you, but it was like to where every time you moved, there was a chainsaw guy like nearby. It was just
yeah. Yeah. And yeah, that's always my least favorite part whenever I go to Halloween Horror Nights. Like I'll survive houses that are like Silent Hill
yeah.
or Guts and Gore, but if I see on the map that we're entering like the territory where these chainsaw people are are frightening guests, I'll be like, let's go around. Let's go
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
Like even
It's
though,
the noise, man. It's the noise of those chainsaws that just really get me. Like how they rev it up. Like, yeah,
yeah,
that makes it extra. Just yeah, I'm not about this.
Yeah, I'm not about that. Snakes, zombies, ghosts, I'm okay, but a chainsaw, I'm like,
Yeah,
no.
chainsaw dudes.
It's the noise, and it hurts my anxiety. Like when they get up close and sometimes rev between my legs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
yeah, but um, I kind of want to get your thoughts on like what have been some of your favorite Halloween movies to watch during the
Hmm.
season, or do you
Okay.
have a couple that you tend to go to every year?
Okay, so again, I don't like to get scared. I'm not particularly, a big fan of scary movies, horror movies. Um, I mean, the two that come to mind. So I'll kind of split this up here. So the two that come to mind that I really like, I was like, I actually enjoyed the movie. Was Saw, the first Saw.
Oh man.
Yeah, the first Saw is like I could watch that because it was just like it was more of a mystery about Jigsaw and stuff like that. And it wasn't more about the traps and stuff like that. That was kind of like the secondary of it. And another one was Cabin in the Woods. So Cabin in the Woods was one of those movies I was just like my friends were. We actually stayed at someone's house, and we were actually near like a lake and stuff like that. So we decided to watch like Cabin in the Woods, cool. And I thought it was a pretty. I mean, it was a scary movie, but it was also kind of funny too.
Mm-hmm.
And just the twist at the end was kind of like, what the hell? Just whoa, what happened? Um, so those are two movies that really like popped in my mind when I'm talking about like you know scary movies or just go-to movies to watch. Uh, I did I did a little extra homework. I actually while I was at work today, I actually posed these because you know I don't really like scary movies, so I posted to my coworkers. So I asked a couple of my coworkers to tell me what their go-to Halloween movies are. Like if they had one movie at the watch on Saturday, what are they sitting down watching? And I got my list here. So just a couple of mentions for Halloween movies.
Tell me if you would watch those movies.
Okay,
If
I got
like
you.
if I know they're your coworkers movies,
Mhm.
but let me know if these are movies that like you
Okay,
these are ones that you would actually sit down and watch.
okay,
Uh,
okay. I got you. All right. So first one is Nightmare Before Christmas,
oh, that's a
and
good one.
I would definitely watch that.
Yeah,
To be honest with you, I have not watched it. I have
really.
not watched that movie, and
Oh,
I'm probably gonna get a lot of flack for that, but I've not watched that movie. Makes me want to watch it now since one of my coworkers recommended it. I mean, it's a classic. It's Tim Burton, so I
it's a
don't understand.
classic, and it gets uh yeah, like in true Tim Burton fashion. There's some like morbid morbid scenes, but it's animation, so like
Yeah, yeah,
if something gets goofy or somebody's limb falls off, it's all in like good family
yeah,
humor.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. All right, the next one. Two people recommended this. Hocus Pocus.
Oh,
Um, I have not watched Hocus Pocus, but I know that it's a favorite. My girlfriend likes it, so a big fan of that movie. Three people recommended Halloween 1 and 2.
the
Uh,
classic
uh,
ones.
so yeah, so
Not
the original ones. I think the
okay.
OGs. Have you watched that one or?
I haven't watched the original one in years. I watched not this current reboot, but the reboot before that, the one that Rob Zombie made.
Uh huh.
Um, so I watched that, and that was brutal movie. So if I were to watch the classic ones. I don't think they would be as in your face gore as today's movies. I think it would be more
Like sinister, like more like
yeah,
yeah,
more
yeah,
sinister, not just in your face close up
not gore.
stab
Yeah,
wounds.
yeah.
Yeah. So I do want to watch the original ones. I also am interested in watching the the rebooted one that was like that came out a couple years ago, because
Yeah.
I know they're releasing two more parts to that movie, and it
Yeah.
has like Jamie Lee Curtis. So
Hmm.
I'm kind of wanting to see that. I don't want to see like Halloween H2O or Freddy versus Jason or like
No. Yeah,
those
that's
remakes above like the third film.
yeah. So yeah, like yeah, Halloween 1 and 2. I guess the next one somebody recommended Friday the 13th, the original one. Nightmare.
Mhm.
Have you watched that one?
I
The
haven't. I haven't.
Okay.
I saw some clips. I think it's the rebooted one with like Jared Padalecki. If I'm thinking of the
Hmm.
right, I always get them confused of what the name of like the movies that Jason and Mike Myers are in. So Friday the 13th is the one with Jason, I think.
Yeah.
The hockey face hatchet
Uh-huh.
killer.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Uh the other ones were Final Destination, the
Oh
first
shoot.
one. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that movie, even though I don't know, just the reality scares, just not my thing. I don't, The Conjuring. Have you watched Conjuring?
Heck no. I
Okay.
can't do that. Like um like zombies and serial killers I'm okay with, but when you get to like supernatural
Or like Ouija, like
yeah,
Ouija board type stuff.
and like Japanese ghost stories or James Wan style conjuring ghosts, even like the ones of like the spin-offs like Annabelle and the Nurse.
Yeah,
Just watching the trailers alone, because there's I
I'm
guess there's
done.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's like a formula to those trailers in the movies, and like it's what's coming, and I'm like I can't handle that kind of stress, you know.
All right. So yeah, we got Conjuring, Paranormal Activity, and you could kind of put Blair Witch Project in there too, because that was kind of like the starting point of movies like Paranormal Activity, and I guess the whole reality, like the
Yeah, that kind of
shaky cam.
yeah, that found footage genre of
Yeah,
horror,
yeah.
and so
Uh, Another one was Beetlejuice. Um,
that's a good one. Have you seen that one?
yeah, I have not seen that one. I
Oh,
know I need to see. Yeah,
that's
I'm behind. I'm way behind. Like, I mean, super behind.
that's Michael Keaton. uh I don't know if it was before or after Batman, but
Hmm.
that's the other side of Michael Keaton. So he was like Batman, he was like stoic and quiet, and then this one he's
Hmm.
just like crazy.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Uh, Another one. One of my coworkers said, "Tales from the Hood."
oh man, oh
Yeah.
shoot, I remember
Have you watched
watching
that
that.
one?
I watched that one. I watched it on HBO.
Oh
Back,
man.
yeah,
Okay.
I rember
It was
that.
creepy, right?
It's
Wasn't it
creepy.
creepy?
It's creepy. It's on the vein of like those shows in the 90s of like Tales from the Crypt.
Crypt. Okay.
Um, and it was just like it was I think it was like an anthology of horror stories,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then of course there's like that knife twist at the end, but it had it I think it had Tony Todd in it. He's the voice, or he's the guy that plays Candyman
Hmm.
in the original movies. But I remember for some reason, like I don't remember anything about the rest of the show. I just remember how it ended, and yeah.
How did it end? Spoiler alert.
Spoiler
I
alert.
mean,
Okay, if I'm thinking of the right one, Tales from the Hood. Okay, spoiler alert. 3, 2, 1. Basically, everyone, all the characters die, and they die like brutal deaths. not like
Oh,
it's more like their souls got sent to hell. Like Tony Todd's, I think, character, or if it was Tony Todd, um, was like actually the devil, and
okay,
he was
okay.
kind of telling these tales uh, of these kind of morbid tales, and at the end, so I think it's supposed to be like a bunch of gangsters that are supposed to pick up supposedly these drugs
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
from this dealer, and I think they approach like these coffins in the end, and like the narrator or whoever it was like, yeah, your product's in there, and then the gangsters like open up the crypt
Uh-huh.
thinking, that's where their drugs at, but they actually see their dead bodies
Oh
inside.
shoot.
And then you hear this maniacal laugh, and then like the narrator transform into this demon, and then you just see these uh the characters that you were following like get burned alive in this lake of fire. And that,
Oh geez.
yeah, that messed me up, because this was like late at night on HBO, on like I shouldn't have been watching that. When you get to like a certain time of HBO, they get to like
Yeah.
adult content.
It's like
And
that's like at least like 11:30 to 1 o'clock.
yeah,
That's,
it's
yeah.
it's well past, like it's like 11:30, 12 o'clock. I shouldn't be watching this. And then um I'm kind of like, I'm just I'm I I suddenly see these people getting like
Burned alive.
burned
Like
alive in a lake of fire as the devil is laughing over them. I could be
yeah,
wrong.
this
I
is
don't.
like 90s. This is 90s fire. Like it's probably like real fire and their like skulls are probably like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
melting.
You
Yeah,
just
yeah.
see like these writhing bodies as like flame is the image of flame is superimposed on them.
Hmm.
But I just remember that scene. It's like the final scene of the movie, and like it's like it creeped me out because I grew up in a Christian household, and then so seeing things of like lake of fire and a
And
demon laughing,
demons.
and it's like that messed me up. So I'm usually afraid to watch watch Tales from the Hood whenever it comes up on like HBO. I'll flip
Oh
past it and
man.
all that. So
Oh
but yeah,
man, I did not know. I'm glad I actually brought this up. Wow,
yeah.
that's
So
cool.
end of
Shout out,
spoiler.
shout out
End of
to my
spoiler.
coworker for doing that because I just, we just uncovered a memory.
Yeah,
You know, one to put back, but
I know. One to bury forever. Like
yeah,
I mean, if I were to see that footage now on YouTube, I'd be like, oh, that looks cheesy. But being like an 8-year-old, eight watching that kind of scarred me.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I can tell you, my coworker was the exact same way. Like, it pretty much freaked my coworker out as well. So you're definitely not alone in that. It probably would freak me out too. You probably even today, to be honest with you, just to
Yeah.
kind of see everything. But the last one that they mentioned was Insidious. So I guess a lot of the like, I mean, there's a whole bunch of scary movies. I mean, we still haven't mentioned like It or
Yeah.
the classics. Like, how about Casper? Any love for Casper? Like,
I
you
love
know,
Casper. I love
yeah,
Casper.
Casper's a good movie. I like it. But other other movies I kind of thought about was uh, that Charlie Brown special. Do you
Oh yeah.
count that as Halloween? Yeah, it's a great
The
pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Yeah, the Great
Yeah,
Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. So
yeah. So that's also a classic. But
I've
yeah,
never
it's
I've never actually watched that episode fully. I know it's a
it's always
classic.
like on it's always on like ABC like randomly or like towards Halloween. I don't know if it's on Halloween, but maybe like the night before or something like that they play it.
Yeah, they always hype it up on TV. It's like on
Yeah,
ABC Family, and they're like, "Oh,
yeah,
it's tonight's showing of It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown." And I'm like,
yep,
"Okay, I'll watch it." Just mainly to listen to that sweet, sweet Vince Guaraldi
yeah.
music.
The soundtrack, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. but other than that, I'll just like, oh, cool, and then I'll tune out, and then come back. I'm like, okay, this is the scene here.
Yeah. But like, do you have any like? How about you? Like, is there anything that if you had, Saturday night, you had one movie to watch? Well, what are we watching?
So let's see. So my favorite Halloween movie that I watch every year is Evil Dead 2, the
Oh,
Sam
okay.
Raimi Bruce Campbell film,
Uh huh.
and not the first one. Though the first one's good and it has like that B movie quality, but the second one is a lot of fun because that's where a lot of the Evil Dead lore uh like really builds out of,
Mm-hmm.
especially the part where Ash cuts off his hand and um, turns it into a chainsaw weapon. Um, and this is the part where he wields a famous sawed-off shotgun. So there's a lot of like lore that begins in Evil Dead 2 that even carries on to like the next movie,
Mm-hmm.
Army of Darkness, and yeah, it was really established then. Even though like the first Evil Dead, that's good because it's just B movie scares. It's cheesy. Um, it's very amateur, but
Yeah.
it's very creative in how like it scares you, and so
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy that series. So I watch that every Halloween.
Like, how many? I guess how long have you watched that movie every Halloween, or is this like a? It's like a. What's the streak on? Like a couple years or?
If I don't watch it this week before Halloween, I think that will be like at least 10 years that
Okay. Okay.
um that I wouldn't have watched it. That streak would be broken.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to like get into various other kinds of horror.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I've been watching like classic horror, monster movies, zombie movies, ghost movies. This whole
Yeah.
October season.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but
Anything that you've watched for the first time and just goes kind of like, oh, that's actually pretty good.
um, I'll have to pull up a list. But I did watch the Japanese movie House. Have you
Mm-hmm.
heard of it? It's a
I've not
Criterion
heard of it.
collection. Okay,
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
it is just like gonzo crazy Japanese horror. Um, so it can be kind of gory. It deals with like spirits, but check it out if you can. The
Okay.
House, it's on the Criterion collection. I also watched this one movie called Beyond the Black Rainbow. Um, it's from
Oh.
it's from the director of Mandy. Have
Hmm.
you heard of the movie Mandy with Nicolas Cage?
Is that like a famous movie from Nicolas Cage or something, or what?
It just came out in like 1 or 2 years ago, but it is like Nicolas Cage craziness ramped to 11. All that.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've heard of it, but I just haven't watched it.
it's definitely, if you're a fan of Nicolas Cage, I would say give it a watch just because um, this is like Nicolas Cage is crazy, but this is
Hmm.
like him, drugged out on a revenge mission to seek out the killers of his girlfriend. So it's
Oh,
just
okay.
basically John Wick if it was on LSD and a horror movie, pretty much. And so
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Yeah,
that's the
that's a nice
concept.
comp.
John Wick on LSD with an '80s synth soundtrack, and
Wow.
it's really good. But the movie that came before it, Beyond the Black Rainbow, is kind of that same vein. Deals with like LSD drug use,
Hmm.
and it's very very trippy. But it has this cool 80s soundtrack that I really dig.
Oh, okay,
So
that's cool.
yeah. But did you have any like other uh things growing up that you watched? Did you ever watch like Are You Afraid of the Dark? Like these
Oh yeah,
Nickelodeon shows that that's
yeah. Like I watched Are You Afraid of the Dark? I don't the theme song of that really like not a fan. I was just
mhm.
like, oh man, I had to have all the lights on while I was
Yeah.
watching it. Like I couldn't have any lights off during that. Another one I
that
kind of
that
watched.
defeats the purpose of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Ah, I'm gonna turn on all the lights here. I'm just
That
gonna.
was just me. I was just like, you know what? You're not gonna tell me what to do. I'm just gonna turn on the lights. I don't care. Um, Another thing I watched was a lot of TV had like Halloween specials. I know The Simpsons. They did a lot of the Treehouse of Horror.
Oh yeah.
Um, I used to watch those a lot. They would promote the hell out of it, and yeah, those were some of my favorites. Um, but yeah, I mean, other than that, that's pretty much what I remember. Every other like Halloween episode was just kind of cheesy, I guess. Back in the day, it was like didn't really remember it, or it was just kind of like some failed attempt at trying to celebrate,
Were
Halloween, I guess.
were your parents okay with you watching content like that, like the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episodes, which can be like very gory, Ren and Stimpy
Yeah,
style kind of violence?
yeah.
Or
I mean,
what's the Simpsons version of Ren and Stimpy? Itchy and
Itchy and
Scratchy.
Scratchy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're okay with it. I mean, it's just kind of like, we'll let you watch it. Just don't reenact this stuff. So, I mean, I was kind of good about just like, I guess, taking this whole thing at face value. It's like, oh, it's just a cartoon. Um, and that's really that. I mean, they didn't really notice. Like, I mean, I think I had a TV in my room around that time too. So sometimes I just go in my room and just watch the TV, and they didn't really know what I was watching. So
Yeah.
sometimes I just put on Simpsons like before I go to sleep, and that's that. I mean, yeah, they didn't really notice, to be honest with you.
Oh, really? Oh,
Mm.
dang. I remember watching the Treehouse of Horror episodes in my house, and then if my parents like wandered into the room, I'd have to switch it right away because they're like, oh, they can't
Yeah.
watch some people get dropped into a meat grinder and eaten or yeah or or die these horrific deaths.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I had to switch to a different channel of ABC
Yeah.
Family where they were
ABC
playing
Family. Yeah.
the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown stuff.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
yeah, but like did you ever watch shows like um so one show that really freaked me out growing up and um it still freaks me out, Unsolved Mysteries, and
Oh
because
yeah. Yeah.
the theme song for Unsolved Mysteries uh freaked me out. I don't even think it's
Still.
I haven't watched it in a long time. I don't even think they do like like supernatural stuff. It's more just like cold
It's
cases,
murder.
right?
Yeah, it's cold cases. Yeah, I just watched an episode 2 days ago about it. Yeah, they keep the same theme song, but it's more missing persons, cold
Mm-hmm.
cases, stuff like that. So they don't really go like into the supernatural type stuff, which
Yeah.
I understand, but I kind of wish they would kind of just maybe sprinkle an episode or so on it just to see how, you know, just to
Yeah.
kind of get the old feeling back. But
Yeah. It's the theme song for some reason. I was just like, I would have to listen to the theme song with like the lights on. That's how
yeah.
creepy it was. Um, but another show that scared me as a kid. Two of them actually was Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction that came on Fox um, on on so my grandmother used to babysit my brother and I, and they didn't have cable. They had just like regular broadcast television with
Hmm.
the ears on the TV
The
and
antennas.
the antennas. and so it would show on Fox channel 30 after 8 o'clock. And so they would present the format of the show is like they would give you these various stories to its hour long, or I think 30 minutes. So it was like 3 stories that are like 10 minutes each. And you had to determine which one were fact or which ones were fiction. And I think Jonathan Frakes, the guy from Star Trek, was the host.
Yeah.
And so there'd be sometimes there's these stories that are like wickedly scary, and you're like, there's no way that's true. And then at the end of the show, they're like, oh, you think this the story was false? Well, it totally happened. I'm like, what? And so they would be like, yeah, they'd be like ghost stories, or they'd be like serial killers, or all these like unexplained mystery ones. And they'd be like, yep, according to this source, this happened. And like, oh shoot, yeah, I'm not that's kind of freaky. And so that freaked me out.
Dude, I remember that guy. That guy had like he was kind of like almost like a meme or something like that. Where it was like, that's fact, this one is fiction, that one is fact. Like, yeah, that was pretty scary. Like, just having someone just tell you like all that stuff was true. I was like, what?
Yeah,
I thought for sure you're gonna tell me it's fiction, but that's the name of the show. So
I know.
You know.
Yeah. They're. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, like I was just kind of piggybacking off. Fox 30. They had a lot of scary shows, to be honest with you. Like one show that like really freaked me out, and this wasn't supposed to freak people out. I don't know if it freaked you out whenever you watched it, but America's Most Wanted.
Oh yeah,
that was the scariest thing ever, because at the end when they say these like criminals, like grand larceny, second degree murder, and still at large. If you know anything about this, I'm like, where at? It's like, and they would tell you the whereabouts. Last seen in Atlanta, Georgia, and you're like, that's only a couple hours away from me, like, and still at large. I hate when I was with Joe Walsh. Was
Joe Walsh?
That was the guy, bro. Like it's like the bearer of bad news. I was like, did we catch him? We have not caught him. He's wanted in over like 30 states. I was just like, and I think he may be on his way to Florida. I was like, oh no, it's great. That's great. So yeah, that was a show that, it was supposed to be informative, but it was just scary as heck, just listing all these criminals that are out there and they're not and they're still at large. So
yeah,
I don't know if you felt that way too, but yeah, that's just something I had to.
I did. Like when they would say like, oh, this criminal was last seen in Boston, Massachusetts, I'd be like, lock the doors, mom and dad. He's still out there. Like,
he's on the East Coast.
like my mindset was like, oh, their only mindset is to come to my house and scare me. So like the criminals escapes, like, I need to come to this. So something's compelling me to go to this one kid's house in Florida, and I'm gonna like terrorize him. And like that was my mindset. Like all the criminals out there that were still at large were coming just for me. And I'm like, crap, lock the doors. I'm learning karate. I'm gonna carry I'm gonna load up my Nerf guns and keep them under my pillow.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And they would also do the sketches too, and you're like, I think I've seen that person before at the Publix.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Wait, that looks oddly familiar. It's like, if you've seen this man, call this number. I was like, oh no, I don't want to call this number.
Yeah. So, there's it could be like a generic sketch of just like some bald dude with a mustache. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's my neighbor. That looks like my neighbor. I'm gonna call the cops on him.
He did just move about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. I'm like, oddly suspicious. Break out the binoculars. Like, look, he's mowing his lawn. That's criminal activity right there. It made you paranoid.
Yeah, super paranoid, bro. I was just kind of like, I don't know why I watched that show for how long I did. I was just kind of like, it was just interesting just to see like, oh, what's out there. Shouldn't
Hmm.
have done it. Scarred me, man. Like I was just, whenever I see like news for Jax too, like even the news for Jax is like, last seen in this gas station. I was just like, oh my god, that's like, it's just a kangaroo. It's like I just drove past that one. I was like,
Yeah.
lock the doors, y'all.
Now every 10 o'clock thing is like America's Most Wanted. And I was like, oh god,
Yeah,
well, here we go.
true.
Lock the door, pump the shotgun, get the bat by the door.
Get the machete.
Yeah. Get,
But
turn on your kung fu. We're going to
yeah,
bed and all that. So
sure. Yeah.